If you're on Social Security, SSI, SNAP, or Medicaid, there is a proposal circulating right now that could put up to $2,000 directly in your hands, and it's connected to something you may have already heard about: tariffs. Now, before we go any further, I want to say something important. I know that when you hear $2,000 check, your first instinct might be skepticism, and honestly, that's the right instinct to have. You've seen headlines before that turned out to be misleading. You've clicked on videos that promised big money and delivered nothing but confusion. So let's be clear from the start. This video is not about hype. It's not about promises. It's about walking you through what is actually being proposed, what it could mean for people in your situation, and most importantly, what you need to watch out for so that you don't accidentally put your benefits at risk. Let's walk through this together, carefully and clearly. First, let's talk about where this $2,000 figure is coming from. As part of ongoing discussions around trade policy and tariff revenue, there have been serious conversations, including proposals from voices inside and outside the administration, about returning tariff proceeds directly to American households in the form of a dividend or refund check. The basic idea is this: when tariffs are charged on imported goods, that money goes to the federal government. Some economists and policymakers have argued that a portion of that money should be sent back to everyday Americans, particularly lower-income households, to offset the higher prices that tariffs can cause on goods like groceries, household items, and clothing. One version of this proposal has discussed payments in the range of $1,200 to $2,000 per household. Other versions have suggested smaller monthly amounts. As of right now, no final legislation has been signed into law. But this is being actively discussed, and that means you need to be informed and ready, not caught off guard. Second, let's talk about who this is designed to reach. Most versions of a tariff dividend proposal are structured to prioritize lower and middle-income households. That means if you are currently receiving Social Security retirement benefits, SSDI, SSI, or if you rely on programs like SNAP or Medicaid, you would likely fall within the income range that qualifies. Some proposals have suggested that eligibility would be determined using your most recent tax return, similar to how the COVID stimulus checks worked. Others have discussed using existing benefit enrollment data to identify eligible households automatically, meaning you might not even need to apply. Here's where people get into trouble, though. And this is the part I want you to pay very close attention to. Now here's the important part, and this is where I need you to really listen, because this is where a lot of people make costly mistakes. If you receive SSI supplemental security income, you are subject to both income limits and resource limits. The resource limit for an individual is $2,000. For a couple, it's $3,000. That means if a check of $1,200 or $2,000 lands in your bank account, and you don't spend it or protect it within the same calendar month, it could push your countable resources over the limit. And if that happens, you could lose your SSI benefits, even temporarily, until your resources drop back below the threshold. This is not a reason to panic. This is a reason to plan. Here's how the income versus resource rule works in plain language. In the month you receive the money, Social Security counts it as income. That could temporarily reduce your SSI payment for that month. But if the money is still sitting in your account at the beginning of the following month, it becomes a resource, and that's where the $2,000 limit applies. So the window to act is narrow, and knowing that in advance is everything. Next, let's talk about what you can actually do to protect yourself legally, properly, and without risking anything. Strategy 1. Spend down. If you receive a lump sum payment, you are allowed to spend it on legitimate expenses in the same month you receive it without it affecting your resources the following month. This includes things like paying rent ahead, utility bills, medical equipment, dental work, household repairs, clothing or food. These are what Social Security calls excluded expenditures. Spending money on your genuine needs is not wrong. It's allowed and it's smart. Strategy 2. Proper reporting. This is non-negotiable. If you receive any payment, including a stimulus check, tariff dividend, or any government-issued check, you are required to report it to Social Security if you receive SSI. You must report it no later than the 10th day of the month following the month you received it. Failing to report can result in overpayments, penalties, and in some cases, repayment demands that are very difficult to deal with on a fixed income. Keep documentation. Keep the letter or notice that comes with any check. Write down the date you received it. Keep your bank statement from that month. If Social Security ever asks questions, you want to be able to show exactly what came in and what you did with it. Strategy 3. ABLE accounts. If you or a family member has a qualifying disability, an ABLE account is one of the most powerful tools available. Money deposited into an ABLE account does not count toward the SSI resource limit, up to $100,000. You can use funds in an ABLE account for qualified disability expenses, which includes housing, education, health, transportation, and more. If you don't already have an ABLE account set up, now is a good time to look into it. The link to find your state's ABLE program is in the description below. Let's talk briefly about SNAP and Medicaid, because the rules there are slightly different and a little more forgiving in most cases. For SNAP, a one-time government payment, like a stimulus check, is generally excluded from being counted as income for eligibility purposes. However, if the payment is large enough to change your household's overall financial picture, it's worth speaking with your local SNAP office to confirm how it will be treated in your state. For Medicaid, the rules vary by state, and some states have more generous income thresholds than others. A one-time payment typically does not affect Medicaid eligibility, especially if it's classified as a tax credit or refund by the federal government. But again, document everything and don't assume. Here are 3 practical steps you can take right now, before any check ever arrives. Step 1. Pull out your most recent SSA award letter or benefit verification letter. Know exactly what your current monthly SSI or Social Security amount is, and confirm whether you are currently within the resource limits. Step 2. Talk to a benefits counselor. Many areas have free benefits counseling available through your local area agency on aging, a Center for Independent Living, or through a program called SHIP, the State Health Insurance Assistance Program. These are free services, staffed by people who know these rules inside and out. Step 3. Write down your current bank balance and keep a simple log of any large amounts that come in or go out. You don't need a complicated system. A notebook works fine. What matters is that you have a clear record. I want to close by saying this directly to you. You have worked hard. You have paid into this system, and you deserve to receive every dollar you are entitled to without losing what you've already earned in the process. The goal of this channel is always to make sure you have the information you need before something happens, not after. Nothing about navigating these systems is your fault. They are complicated by design, and that's exactly why we talk about them here. Plainly, carefully, and with your real situation in mind. If this video was helpful to you, please leave a comment below. Even just saying "watching from" helps this information reach more people who need it. If you have a specific question about how this might affect your benefits, ask it in the comments, and I'll do my best to address it. There are links in the description below to the ABLE Account Finder, the Social Security reporting guidelines, and free benefits counseling resources in your area. Take care of yourself. Share this with someone who needs it, and we'll keep watching this together.